People deluded. Arsenal 1, West Ham 0. Our under-23s beat their West Ham counterparts by a solitary goal to nil. And yeah, man, we might as well review it. It was obviously at Bournemouth's home ground. Sorry, a lot of you asked me how do I get to watch these games and stuff like that. By going to watch the games physically, home or away. There's no other secret to it. If you want to watch them, go and do that. But yeah, man, obviously we're fresh off the international break. Like the first team players, a lot of the young players are flying around and things. I see Ilev, a young keeper, obviously with Macedonia's first team. Obviously had McGuinness making inroads in regards to the Northern Ireland's under-19s. Collectively, we was all flying about, man. And for the ones that didn't, you look at Okonkwo. I believe he's making his debut and his first start at this level under 23s. You look at Tyreece John-Jules, who's obviously scored for the first team in Dubai. And Michi obviously travelled and got minutes. They should all be filled with confidence and ready to do this because obviously they're in the manager's thoughts. They now go back to their actual team under 23s and it's down to them to be consistent and make sure they're too good to ignore for Unai Emery to ignore in regards to the first team. Shafe and Gilmore putting good accounts of themselves in Dubai as well. So yeah, they should be full of themselves. Saka as well, obviously he didn't fly to Dubai, but he did quite well for England's under-19s, finding the back of the net a couple of times. So everybody should be filled with confidence and things like that, especially Tyreece John-Jules after scoring for the first team, his first goal. I know it's not a competitive game, but yeah. Personally, people, I feel West Ham were better than us in the first 20 minutes in particular. I feel first half goes to them. Probably blame poor finishing, poor creation of quality chances, I would say, for them not getting anything from the game. And they engineered, their goal was a mistake, but we'll get on to that. First 20 minutes, I feel it took us about 10 to wake up, but I feel first 20 minutes, West Ham's passing was more crisper than us. They were sharper in their movement. They were pressing. We were chasing shadows. They had majority of the ball. Their fullbacks, especially Ben Johnson, the right back, who I believe made his debut against Manchester City and he signed a new deal. Signal of intent, getting up there, putting in nice crosses and stuff like that. We were really chasing shadows and you could actually see our frustration because second half to a degree, but more in the first half, I saw Willock do it, Gilmore do it, Shafe do it, and a couple others. Not that it's not to name drop anyone, but we were frustrated and we was giving away fouls in silly areas where if it was at the first team level where players have a bit more quality on a set piece, we could have been made to pay for it. But I feel West Ham was sharper than us, crisper than us, and all of these sort of things. That being said, 9th minute, lovely ball from Saka in behind from the left-hand side to no avail. There was an opportunity in the first half. I can't remember who it was because of where I was sitting, but it was either Willock or Tyreece John-Jules. I think it was John-Jules. Both of them are quality players. I don't understand how, whichever player it was, how they missed this. And it's not an open goal, but it's 1v1 with the keeper. The ball's played in, it's 1v1. It's harder to miss and it's straight at the keeper. And they obviously know they messed up because you could see the frustration when they went down. But other than that, I feel West Ham are unlucky not to score. There wasn't enough quality, if I'm honest, in their final third play, but Trott was on it. Ben Johnson at right back was doing his thing. I feel West Ham, man to a man, they were doing their thing. Their centre halves were showing the willingness to play out from the back, and they were doing quite well, man. We was pinned in our own half, making fouls out of frustration. Couldn't get our players into the game. I don't feel Saka and Amici had their best of games. They were quite quiet, but yeah, we couldn't get them into the game. And if I'm honest, collectively throughout the whole team, you want to see us raise our levels, man. That goes for Gilmore, Shave, Amici, Saka, John-Jules, everybody really, especially these more senior players. There's more star sort of players within the side. You want to see us raise it because the quality is not quite there and a lot of us aren't not really doing anything in the game, to be fair with you. Yeah, man, like I said, West Ham were crisper, they were sharper. I feel they showed the confidence to play. I know this game actually got, if I remember correctly, we're playing this game because it technically got called off because of the mist and stuff, but they were respecting us too much in that game. It looks like the managers drilled it into them to not do that. But bit by bit, we're showing little qualities, like I said, little passes, Saka with a couple of balls in behind. We're doing a little bit, but it's not really enough, really and truly, man. There's a lack of quality finishing through both sides. I feel fouls kind of killed the fluidity of the game. I don't feel the ref was bad, but I do feel the ref was blowing unnecessarily at times and was kind of killing any sort of rhythm or fluidity the game possibly had, in my humble opinion. 42nd minute though, this is what it's about, being a striker. I said John-Jules, like everybody, needs to raise it and show a bit more in this game, but sometimes you're going to be out of the game. It's about taking your chances. It's a West Ham throw. West Ham, I don't even know who, but the West Ham player throws it to one of his players. It's a blind pass from the West Ham lad. John-Jules is awake to take advantage of it, and eventually, you know, with John-Jules, the man knows how to score goals. Eventually, finds its way into the back of the net. Like I said, he should be filled with confidence because he scored against that side in Dubai. Been training with the first team. He's obviously been on the bench for Europa League, so remember, he's in his thinking. It's just down to him to keep being consistent and making himself so good that remember, he can't ignore him in any capacity. So yeah, man, Tyreece took advantage. It's in the 42nd minute. It's 1-0 at this point. Do think it's harsh on West Ham, but this is football at the base level. You don't take your chances, the opposition does, and they walk away with what matters, to be fair with you. Going into half-time, like I said, you want to see our players, especially Amici and Saka for me, because they're the difference makers. They're not playing poorly, but you want to see them raise it, especially Amici, because I did think he was quite quiet, quite anonymous in that game, to be fair with you. A couple of nice passes, but for someone of his quality, he can and has played better. Second half, more or less of the same thing. It was a drag. Both teams had opportunities to score and find the back of the net. Amici went close with a quality free kick, as he's got that in his locker. But yeah, man, poor finishing, poor chance creation and finishing kind of cost us, in my opinion. But West Ham didn't take their chances, because West Ham, I did read a couple of notes after the game. Apparently, their gaffer felt they should have got something from the game, and that's true. They did play quite well, people, but this is what football's about. It's not about playing well, it's about getting the results. Football doesn't care that you've had 90% possession, 2,000 shots, and all of these corners. If you haven't put the ball in the back of the net more times than your opponent, you're not walking away with the 3 points. And not just West Ham players or Arsenal players, but football fans and young footballers in general need to know it's about getting the results done, because I don't feel under 23 football necessarily prepares you for this or necessarily teaches you anything, but that's what I believe, people, anyways. But I feel West Ham, yeah, man, they should be positive going into their other games, because they kept us kind of quiet. We didn't create as many chances, test the keeper as many times as we possibly could have. I'm not sure if I've said it, but I feel Kwanku did quite well. He kept a clean sheet in his under-23's debut. Obviously, he was playing in the FA Youth Cup against Blackpool last year as a schoolboy. Still rough around several edges, but he's improved greatly in the last year for me. For instance, set pieces. His timing at times, he could make mistakes, and he has made a couple at academy level I've seen, but he's more confident in that, as you would be if you're training with the first team. And I think he made a big save in the first half. I'm not sure if I've said it already, but he came off his line and made himself big and put the West Ham guy off. So it was a good performance from him. Another one, you should be filled with confidence after going with the lads in Dubai, being around Peter Cech, Leno, the first team coaches, seeing how to prepare yourself as a keeper, learning off them, just training with them, and them sort of things there rub off on you. So I feel he was quite good, and he deserved his clean sheet, to be fair, on the basis of a couple of the saves I saw him make. But really and truly, weren't much chance recreation. Yeah, man, you wanted to see a bit more from the midfielders in particular, because Shea wasn't in midfield technically, but Gilmore, Willock, everybody really. These guys are all ballers. Really, we should have scored a bit more. We can play a lot better. Out of 10, I'd give us a 5. Do you think we played within ourselves? Maybe a lot of that is because of tiredness. I know the guys in Dubai have obviously played. They've been training. They've obviously had to travel. Saka and that's played for the under-19s. Everybody's been flying around and travelling and things. So there might be an element of fatigue. I'm not too sure, and I might be reaching. But either way, they got what matters in it. They scored a goal, they took 3 points, and you can't always be at it, people. And to be fair, under 23 level and under 18s, I've seen us at it 9 times out of 10. Can't always have the perfect performance, but they done what needed to be done. And Tyreece John-Jules put the ball in the back of the net and done what needed to be done, and we walk away with the 3 points. And we just look forward to the next game. Our under-18s are obviously playing later. They kick off at 11. I believe they're playing against Swansea at home. Obviously, my review will be here on that game. But for now, people, like I said, Arsenal 1, West Ham United 0. We move on. Thank you for watching. I'm out.